Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Superman and Lois Season 3. Today we're going to be doing my review for Episode 10, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so this episode was really good, and I feel like I've said that every week that Superman and Lois has been on this year. But I'm being serious, this was really good, and I like the way that they kind of progressed Lois's story with Pierre, but also set up for the final 3 episodes that are coming after this. So we're going to be breaking it down bit by bit, going over it chronologically. I uploaded earlier today, so if you want to go check that out after you've watched this video, because this is a double upload day. But in the meantime, let's go ahead to the start of the episode and talk about Lois, because she is finally done with her treatment, that being her chemotherapy, and so it's over. She gets the little ceremony on the rooftop, which we saw Pierre do before. I guess it's just a ritual that they have at the hospital, and so her journey is kind of finished in this regard in terms of like if this actually works. And obviously she has to prepare for her surgery, which is like a big thing that they were dealing with in the previous episode. I guess that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. But Lois is convinced that she can get a word out of Pierre, that she can actually get her to talk and reveal her true story. And so she is going to do this. This is like her main goal in this entire episode. So she goes to talk to her at the DOD. Despite her not saying a word, she's pretty convinced that she can get something out of her. But meanwhile, we have Carl, who wants Chrissy to report on the new alien or meta who is in town. He believes it's an incredibly big story, and so he's not willing to give up on this, and Chrissy is quite quick to kind of brush him off. Obviously she has something to hide because she knows all about Superman and his family, and the fact that Jordan has powers. Also, Sarah and Lana know that, so that's a big deal as well. But that gets touched on later in the episode. And so, in the meantime, we have Jordan and Jonathan who make plans to go to this party, despite Clark trying to get them to do something fun. He booked tickets to like a wrestling match in Metropolis, but he's disappointed when they've got other plans. He kind of accepts it, but kind of begrudgingly, because he's gone through a lot of effort and he just wants to hang out with them, and they clearly don't want to hang out with him. So obviously that's just some father-children kind of squabbles going on right there. But in the meantime, we have Bruno Mannheim, who is getting Mateo to break Pierre out of prison, and he's got a scheme to do with some cufflinks. And so I think this is actually quite a genius way to go around trying to break her out, rather than have people like break in and break her out. It's easier if she tries to break herself out from the inside, if she gains her strength again, because obviously right now she's very weak. She literally looks like death itself, and that's because basically with her not getting this new treatment, she's regressing, and you saw that when she got taken in a couple of episodes back. And so, as I said before, Lois goes to visit Pierre in the DOD, and Pierre eventually agrees to tell her her story. And there's apparently a lot of backstory that she tells at first that we're not privy to, and then Lois is getting really to the point and kind of to the hook on what she's trying to get out of Pierre, to reveal the actual details behind the killings of Boss Moxie and everyone else who was surrounding them. And because Lois is convinced that Lex Luthor was set up by Onomatopoeia and Bruno Mannheim, but she is quick to deny this, and she's quick to emphasize how much of a monster Lex is. Obviously she doesn't want to put any of the blame on herself. I feel like she's definitely in some denial herself about the stuff that she's done in the past, and you know, you can clearly see this with her relationship with her child, because she just doesn't want to say anything. And even though she agrees at first to maybe say something to Mateo, she backtracks on that pretty quickly, and you know, she's very happy to not tell him anything, even though apparently Bruno has told Mateo quite a lot. I don't know how much he knows. He's been told mainly about the treatment that he's trying to do. But Pierre goes on to say that breaking Lex out of prison would be one of Lois's greatest regrets, because he's going to be even more worse. He's going to be terrible when he's out of prison, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see Lex in these final 3 episodes. I think we'll see him at the end of next episode, and then he's going to be a big deal in the final 2 episodes of the season that we have in season 3. To be honest, I thought Lex was going to show up earlier. I guess I just kind of miscalculated when he was actually announced, because I guess he just really didn't do too much. Like, yeah, we're going to see him, and we've had previous trailers getting an insight into what this version of Lex is going to be like. But yeah, by all accounts, he's a monster, and I'm pretty sure that's how they're going to play it. But in the meantime, we have Jordan and Jonathan who go to this party. Candace shows up, and Jordan finds Sarah, but Jordan is pretty much instantly annoyed and pissed off by Sarah because she's talking to someone else and he's basically left all alone. And I think that's made pretty clear that, you know, he is becoming more and more kind of upset about his whole situation with Sarah and the fact that he feels very alone. Obviously, we had to deal with his mental health back at the start of season 1. It's been a while since we've kind of got into that, but it's clear that something is going on with him right now because of, you know, the situation that he finds himself in and the way that other people are with other people. It just kind of doesn't work out for him at the moment, at least. And so they get into a heated fight, which doesn't end well because the police show up at this party, which is obviously illegal because they are under 21. And so they get chased by the police, and Jordan saves Sarah and Junior's life as a deer makes them crash into the forest. But they survive by being swooshed out by a superhero. Obviously they don't know who it is, but Sarah knows pretty much instantly that Jordan saved her and Junior. He is being more and more exposed. Obviously Carl was trying to dig into who exactly is this new superhero in Smallville, plus also Junior got a glimpse at him after he saved them, but they can't get away before the cops actually pull up and they see them, and I guess they do some tests and they find out that they've been drinking under the influence. Obviously that's a huge deal, and so Sarah actually gets given a DUI, as they call it. And so yeah, Carl's not happy as he shows up obviously trying to support Sarah, but you know, Sarah denies all of what Junior actually accuses after this, saying that they were saved by some hero, and Kyle was trying to back that up. He's obviously on Junior's side, but Sarah is instantly denying this, obviously trying to protect Jordan and the Superman family's secret. This seriously annoys Kyle because he is sure that he is onto something, and I'm pretty sure it's impossible for them to come out unscathed, which they did actually from that crash. So yeah, they definitely know something great is going on, and Sarah is holding something back. And so yeah, obviously this is not a great circumstance for Sarah. Her parents are extremely mad. They go in at her at the end of the episode, but that's not before Kyle storms out because of what's going on, because Lana gets involved and she has to deny all of this as well, just as well as Sarah, because they can't tell them. Well, it's not their secret to tell, basically. And so meanwhile we have Jordan, who tells Clark about his heroing, and he's obviously a bit shook up about what happened and the fact that maybe he was spotted. Right now they're trying to really keep him down and low-key so he's not spotted and people don't start, you know, questioning who he is. But obviously they're already getting questions with Kyle and also Junior now. So yeah, more and more he's becoming exposed. And so they try to talk, but this is not before Clark basically is like, nope, we're not talking, go to your room, because he smells that he's drunk some beer. And you know, that's just the kind of classic father-son underage drinking kind of situation that you see a lot in American TV shows. And so we've seen this before on the show, so yeah, things don't turn out very well. But also Clark tries to go at Jonathan as Jonathan returns home, but they end up having a good talk despite him trying to initially set out to catch him for supposedly drinking. But obviously he's learned from last year and what happened with him. Obviously he got into some serious situations due to what he was doing, and so he's learned his lesson basically, which is nice to see, if I'm being completely honest. And so let's go back. We have Lois, who goes in to chat with Pierre for one last time as she finally tries to convince her once and for all to tell her full story. And so she's ready to do this, and her one condition is she wants to see Mateo. Obviously she doesn't know what Mateo is planning. We kind of get the gist of what's going on, and she's probably going to break out of prison. But obviously this is all unknown to Lois at this time, because Lois seems like in her mind that she's been getting through to Pierre for this one last time. Obviously, it's been pretty heated between the two of them in their conversations, because obviously Lois has to ask the hard questions and Pierre is very hesitant to tell the truth because she's kind of bottled it up for all of these years. And so now she is finally going to reveal to Mateo what exactly she has done in her past. But Lois sends in Mateo at that point, but he's got another plan. And so Pierre instantly goes with this plan because, as he reveals, he's got the serum with him, so it's going to make her all better. Or will it just be enough to break her out of the prison? Obviously, we don't really get the full extent of that because we only get to see the prison break. And that's pretty much it. Like, we won't get to see the next day or later that night until the next episode. So I think it's very possible that they've actually figured out the cure by now, because we're going into these final 3 episodes. And if she is fully cured, they could totally use this on Lois, and it would probably heal her of her cancer, which is what we've been expecting. And obviously it's going to be a huge deal if that actually goes down. But obviously we're going to have to wait and see as to how Pierre turns out after, you know, a week or so. But back in Smallville, we have Kyle, who storms out as Lana and Sarah lie to him about the superhero save, and this leads to a scene where Clark is actually confronted by Kyle as he shows up to the Kent family farm. And so Kyle is convinced that he thinks Jonathan has got superpowers because he's been there at all the same scenes where the superpowered person showed up. And so he's gone to confront, but Clark denies it. Clark hears with his super hearing that Pierre has broken out of prison, or she is currently breaking out of prison. And so Lois, as she goes in to talk to Pierre, who is much better, you are like, oh my god, like you can see it on her face. And so she takes Lois captive. They break through the DOD. She tears down all of the walls. She injures all of the members of the DOD. And so she's able to finally break out. And so Superman is too late. But what he does do is very important, because he flies in front of Kyle. So that is a reveal that's been a long time coming. And obviously that's one of the cliffhangers of this episode that will be dealt with in the next episode. Kyle has obviously been lied to for a long time by pretty much everyone around him, including Lana and Sarah since the end of last season. So that's obviously going to be a lot to deal with. And so I thought this scene was really cool. I kind of wasn't expecting it, but then as soon as you heard how desperate things were and the fact that Clark wanted to instantly fly away, he just pretty much gave it up all at that point. Obviously it's going to keep Kyle away from suspecting Jonathan or Jordan or anything like that of having powers. He's going to know for sure, but he's not going to be spreading gossip about that, because I'm sure they're going to come to some sort of understanding. But for now, obviously Superman's priorities lied with trying to save Lois and everyone else at the DOD, as Pierre shredded through the entire building. And so as she escapes and returns to the lair, Bruno and Mateo are there and they all hug it out at the end of the episode. But as I said, I would say the big question I had at the end of the episode was to do with Pierre, aka Onomatopoeia. How is she fully cured? Was it because of Bizarro? We saw Bizarro at the end of the episode, just briefly in that wide shot. You would have to presume that that worked in terms of, you know, creating the perfect cure. At least it's going to work for a certain amount of time, or there could be later side effects. You never know. We know that maybe Doomsday could be teased at the end of the season, and that could potentially be something to do with this experiment if it goes totally wrong. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this episode, and if you did enjoy my video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Let me know what do you think of this episode down below. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And like I said earlier, you can go watch my latest video that I uploaded earlier today. It's up on the channel right now, but you can also click on the top right corner of the screen to get easy access to it. So for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.